$2,000 fourth stimulus check for the low income after the midterm elections. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, as we all know, the midterm elections are very, very important, and this election is going to determine the fate of the House of Representatives as well as the Senate for the next couple years. Which, quick side note, by the way, I am not taking political sides in this video at all, but rather I'm talking about the current situation, what we need to know, and of course answering some questions that I've been seeing down below in the comment section. Which also brings me to my next point, which is I've been seeing some questions down below in the comment section here over the last few days from some of you here in the community reaching out to me asking, after the midterm elections, are we going to be getting a $2,000 fourth stimulus check? That's a really good question, and it's exactly what I want to talk about here in the video, because like I said, this election is very, very important, and it's going to determine the fate, as in who has control of the House of Representatives, and of course the Senate for the next couple years. Let's get into it and talk about all the details, as there's a lot going on right now, and this is a very important topic. Let's get into it. However, really, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. I am your one and only daily advocate. I'm watching everything very, very closely. There's a lot of new information hitting the wire each and every day. I'm doing all the necessary research, watching all these headlines, breaking it down into these short videos, which I deliver a couple times throughout the day, so you can stay updated with what is actually going on during this very busy time. So again, please remember, I am your daily advocate. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. I truly want to help you out in any way that I can. So subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward, and I'll continue to be here for you right by your side every single day. All right, thanks again. Let's jump into it and talk about the very important questions that continue to pop up down below in the comment section and that all of us really want to know. Will another stimulus check be arriving after the midterm elections? All right, so here's what it comes down to. The House of Representatives and the Senate will be determined by this election, okay? And by that, I simply mean who is going to have control of these chambers after the election. Now, here's what it comes down to. As of right now, Democrats have full control of the House of Representatives, the Senate, and of course, the presidency. However, the presidency will not be changing for at least the next couple years, right? And again, I have no clue what's going to happen then either. I'm not taking political sides here. I don't have a clue what's going to happen there. Even with the midterm elections, I don't really know. There's a lot of speculation out there what may be happening with the midterm elections. But again, we really won't know until it comes and goes and we get the final tallies on all the votes that come in, right? So here's what it comes down to. Like I said, right now, Democrats have control of the House. They have a majority of seats there by, a number of different seats in the House of Representatives. In the Senate, it is actually an even split. 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats. However, the vice president is Democratic. Therefore, they actually have a slight majority in the Senate because they have the vice president who comes in and casts the tie-breaking vote, and therefore Democrats have a slight margin, even though it is a exact split of 50-50 between the parties there, okay? So that's what it comes down to. However, after the midterm elections, there's likely going to be some changing of seats. In what direction? I don't have a clue, okay? I'm just simply telling you, I have no idea what's going to happen here. I've been reading a ton of headlines. There's a lot of speculation going either way. One side's going to take over, the other side's going to take over. This is going to flip, that's going to flip, this many seats are going to flip, all kinds of different things that are coming out. If you want to, hear one side of it, there's tons of research on one side. If you want to look to the other side, there's plenty of other articles and research that you can find for the other side. It literally doesn't matter. Whatever you want to find and read about, you can probably find it, okay? I've been reading a lot of information on both sides. But let's talk about what we really want to know here. What is going to happen in the event of, after the midterm elections? What happens then? Well, first off, Congress does not change right away. In fact, the new lawmakers are not even sworn in until after January. So the first couple of days of January, that's when the new lawmakers and the new Congress goes into session. So for at least about 2 months, well, it's not even 2 months actually. It's just shy of 2 months after the midterm elections. Nothing will change. Nothing, because the current Congress will stay in session until, like I said, in early January when the new Congress is sworn in. After that takes place, then the transfer will happen, right? The new lawmakers will be in, the old lawmakers will be out. Whoever, whatever happens with the chambers will be flipped or not flipped, stay the same. Again, we'll have to see what happens there after the election actually takes place. So when it comes down to it, virtually, with Congress, virtually nothing's really going to happen as far as, changes in the people in Congress until early January. That's when they're going to be, sworn in, things like that. All right, so when it comes down to it, what is going to happen after the midterm elections? Is there going to be another check or not? Let me break this down for you. And again, I want to make it very clear. I know that this is kind of a hot button issue, which is why I'm saying this so many times here in the video. I am not taking political sides in this video. However, I do want to break something down for you to let you know what's going on here, because I've also seen some comments and some different headlines and things like that that say, oh, Republicans would never give a check. Okay, I actually want to push back on that a little bit here for just a second. And again, not taking sides here. I'm just simply laying it all out so we can see the evidence in front of us of what's actually going on. Let's think back to 2020. When, COVID came in and we were talking about multiple stimulus packages, 2020 in particular, what was happening then? Republicans were in control of the chambers, right? The House of Representatives and the Senate, Republicans were in control. And again, hear me out here, because in just a minute, I'm going to talk about Democrats here in just a second as well, okay? So just hear me out. I'm taking both sides of this story. So back in 2020, when we were talking about stimulus packages and stimulus checks and things like that, when Republicans were in control, they passed a $1,200 check in early 2020 in March, and then again in late 2020, another $600 check, and that was passed by Republicans. A total of $1,800 that we got in stimulus checks, okay? So just keep that in mind. So the articles and information that you've been seeing or maybe hearing saying Republicans would never send out another check. Well, I kind of want to push back on that because they've already sent out $1,800 to $100 worth of checks. So again, just got to take that into consideration. Next, now let's go into early 2021, right? So, the new president was sworn in early 2021, late January, in fact. We got some changes in Congress, as in the Senate was then flipped, the House of Representatives, things like this. We had a change in Congress as well. Democrats took over. What happened then? They passed another stimulus package, and Democrats, passed a $1,400 stimulus check in early 2021. Make sense? So here we are. We have both sides that have all passed stimulus checks on their own. Republicans passed their own stimulus checks, and Democrats passed their own stimulus checks. Okay? So for any of us to come out and say, this side won't pass them, that side won't pass them, for any of us to come out and all these articles to say that either side, Republicans or Democrats, will not pass another stimulus check, I don't agree with that. We can see clearly right here that both sides have passed stimulus checks for the people, right? Again, I'm being totally fair here right now. Both sides have passed a pretty substantial amount of money for the people, right? Oh, one more quick side note as well. Again, to be completely fair and to level the playing field totally once again. Now, when I talked about the dollar amounts that Republicans passed, it was about $400 more, $1,800 collectively, with the $1,200 and the $600, the first two checks, and then Democrats did pass the $1,400. So technically, Democrats passed about $400 less. However, get this, Democrats also did pass the advanced child tax credit payments, which sent out those ongoing monthly checks from July through December of 2021, with an average household receiving $422 every single month as a result of that. The average family was getting thousands of dollars from the child tax credit payments. Now, to be fair, once again, I know those checks did not include seniors, older adults, or people without kids that were aged 17 or younger, right? So again, I just want to level the playing field so that we're all on the same page here, so we can all see what these lawmakers have done, right? Over the course of 2020 and 2021, again, to be totally fair, as much as I love to, kind of slam all these people, as much as I love to do that, to be totally fair, they did pass. Both parties did pass a pretty substantial amount of money across the board in the form of stimulus checks, enhanced unemployment benefits, rental assistance, utility assistance, the child tax credit payments, the stimulus checks going across the board for everybody. There's been a lot of money going out the door between both parties, okay? So, to be fair, they've both been pretty generous. I mean, let's be real for a second. For the last couple of years, 2020 and 2021, pretty much all lawmakers have been surprisingly generous, okay? I would almost never say that, but to be real, they actually have been a little bit generous over those course of those 2 years. However, in 2022, what have they done? Nothing. They've done nothing. They've done absolute jack, right? We know that, okay? So the answer or the question comes in now. After the midterm elections, will another check be coming? That's a really good question, okay? And I'm going to say this much. Regardless of what happens in Congress, I think the likelihood of another check pretty much stands at the same point. Doesn't really matter where the House of Representatives is. Doesn't really matter where the Senate is. Regardless of who has control, I would say the likelihood is probably right down the middle, a 50-50 split between either party, whoever has control of either chamber, or maybe they're split. Maybe one party has control of one chamber, one party has control of the other chamber. That can happen as well, right? So when it comes down to it, I really don't think it comes down to the parties as far as if there's going to be another check or not. It all comes down to the economic picture. I've been talking about this for a very long time now. The economy is going to be the dog that wags the Congress tail, okay? So picture a dog, right? We got a cute, fluffy dog. He has a nice little tail. The dog wags the tail. Congress is the tail. What is the dog? The dog is the economy, okay? That's what it all comes down to as of right now, because the economy is basically getting crushed right now, okay? The Federal Reserve is crushing this economy. They know they're doing it. They're doing it intentionally to try to bring down inflation. I've been talking about this for a while now. We need to watch the economy. Of all the things that we need to watch right now, the economy should be number one. When I talk about the economy, I literally mean, what's going on with the job market. That's a very important one. What's going on with the Federal Reserve and interest rates. What's going on with inflation. These are probably the top three that we need to watch the closest right now. When it comes down to anything else out there, these are probably the top three different issues that we need to watch. The Federal Reserve, interest rate policy, inflation, and of course, the job market. All of these are going to indicate the likelihood of another stimulus package, the likelihood of another stimulus check, who's going to get that, how big is it going to be, where's it going to reach, all the other details that we all want to know. It's all going to be predicated by the economy, okay? As we watch this economy continue to collapse onto itself, as we continue to watch the Federal Reserve come out raising interest rates and crushing this economy, it's all going to come down to that, right? How deep has the recession gotten? How deep has this economy fallen off of a cliff? And how much money do we need to bring it back? That's what it's all going to come down to. I honestly don't think it has anything to do with Congress at that point, okay? Because Congress collectively, they all do the same thing every single time. And regardless of party, doesn't really matter. When the economy is going down the toilet, what do? They put on a rubber glove and they reach right in to try to grab it out. That's a really gross analogy. I apologize, but that's kind of what happens, right? So they try to do whatever they possibly can. And as a result of that, they print up a bunch of money through the Federal Reserve, they appropriate it through Congress, and then they plow this money out in the form of giving it out in the form of stimulus checks. They make easy money by making it very accessible for people and businesses to get loans, access to capital, and as a result of this, by all this new fresh money printing, it pops up the economy yet again. Okay, that's the whole process. We've been seeing it happen time and time again over the last several decades. We've been seeing the same process play out. There's no reason that this one would be any different this time. It's going to be the same thing. They're going to call it something different, but essentially it's going to be a different date on a calendar. They're going to give it a different name, but it's going to be the same old thing dressed up in a different suit, but it's going to be the same thing, okay? So anyway, that's what it comes down to. So for the people that have been asking the question down below, after the midterm election, will we be looking at a stimulus check? Again, we'll have to watch the economy. At the trajectory that the economy is moving right now, I've said this before, as this economy continues to go down the toilet pretty rapidly, the higher the likelihood that checks would actually be approved. And again, I've said this as well. When it comes time to actually revive this economy and bring it back, they will not care about inflation. Inflation will be the least of their concerns because when it comes down to it, what do they care more about? Jobs or inflation? Well, they care about jobs. Right now, the reason they're pretending to care about inflation is because we're almost at full employment. The economy is sitting at pretty much full employment. The unemployment rate is sitting, just under 4%. That's considered pretty much full employment, okay? That's why they're worried about inflation. However, when the equation flips, as in inflation is getting lower and job losses are getting higher, the unemployment rate is getting higher, it's going to flip again. The focus is going to be on jobs, job creation, bringing the economy back, and they're going to say, who cares about inflation? Don't worry about inflation. We need to worry about the economy, okay? So right now, the equation is flipped a little bit. They're worried about inflation, or they're pretending to be. They're not doing much about it, and they're crushing the economy. They're crushing the job market. But soon, that is going to flip, just like I've been talking about for a while now. the Federal Reserve will flip their policy. They will start to cut interest rates rather than raising interest rates. And as a result of that, we're going to see a bunch of free money coming out yet again. Easy money is what it's called, right? It's what they always call it. Easy money. In other words, easy access to capital. You can get out and get a loan easily. Interest rates are low. The appetite for borrowing is high. It makes it appealing to go and get money, okay? Anyway, I could go on and on for this, but let's leave it there for now. And again, I hope this answers your question. There's a lot of different things we need to watch right now, but when it comes down to it, honestly, I don't really think it comes down to the political party in control. I don't really think that matters all that much. It's all about jobs, the economy, and what's going on, as a whole in the United States. That's what it comes down to. The lawmakers are just the people that sit there and make the decisions, okay? If we're all looking at the same picture, which is the economy is bad, they're all going to come up with the same solution. Print money, get it out to the people. That's it, okay? Super easy solution. We've seen it happen time and time again, and there's no reason that this time would be any different. It's going to be the same thing. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that it possibly can be. I hope this video helps you out, as well as I hope this video makes sense. And one more time, I do not take political sides in my videos, and in this video, I hope that I made it very clear to make it, right down the middle to show you that both sides are actually doing, or did, I should say, not doing. They're not doing anything right now other than nothing, right? But they did do actually quite a bit. Let's be fair. Again, I'm not a huge fan of lawmakers. I don't think they're like, cream of the crop or anything like that. But again, to be fair, during 2020 and 2021, I do think that they actually did quite a bit. They should have done more, still can do more. But to be fair, both sides did actually kind of step up and help the people in kind of a pretty big way. But again, much more is also needed, okay? Anyway, I'm here for you in any way there possibly can be. I want to do whatever I can to bring you unbiased opinions, unbiased information, as I do take all this information out of the comment section. And again, I do tons of research each and every day, and I bring it to you in these videos to help you out in any way that I can to better understand what's actually going on and, again, how it's going to impact us, our money, our bank accounts, our lifestyle, everything else going on right now. I'm here for you. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later.